Tim, and you have joined us on Gye-Nyame Journey Radio. Be sure to check out our site and subscribe at tribe.gyenamejourney.com.
All my brothers and sisters, hold hands and bow your heads. Let us pray. God standeth in the congregation of the mighty. He judgeth amongst the gods. How long will you judge unjustly and accept the persons of the wicked? I say, defend the poor and the fatherless. Do justice to the afflicted and the needy. Deliver the poor and needy. Rid them out of the hand of the wicked. They know not, neither will they understand. They walk on in darkness. All the foundations of the earth are out of court. I have said, be your God, and all of you are children of the Most High. But you shall die like men and fall like one of the princes. Arise, O God, judge the earth. Thou shalt inherit all nations. Allahu Akbar.
This is Kabara Franks, and you are now listening to the Gye-Nyame Journey Radio.
Keep up with the journey. Check out what we have done in the past. Go to journeyarchives.com.
This is Adnan Sheik, aka Ace, live from Shisha Lounge, and you are now listening to Gye-Nyame Journey Radio.
Be sure to follow Gye-Nyame Journey on Facebook, Google Plus, and Twitter. Check us out. Join the journey.
This is Adnan Sheik, aka Ace, live from Shisha Lounge, and you are now listening to Gye-Nyame Journey Radio.
You are now listening to Gye-Nyame Journey Radio with Monica. Enjoy.
This is Marina, this is Gye-Nyame Journey Radio.
This is Willie. Welcome to Gye-Nyame Journey Radio. I want to give shout out to Silver Kevin, all my Silver Nation out there. I want to give shout out to my mom. I give shout out my dad for raising me and my family for being around me. And I want to give shout out to the people of my generation that's trying to do something big.
This is Cleveland, and you're listening to Gye-Nyame Journey Radio.
Peace, Hotep. It's Mansour Hotep, aka Mr. Deity. Mr. Deity doesn't sound good, I think it sounds great. Right now, you listening to Gye-Nyame Journey Radio.
If you're not adding anything to the culture that you claim, you don't deserve to carry its name. This is Brother Hatem coming at you live, and you are now listening to the Gye-Nyame Journey Radio. Shouts out to the Gye-Nyame tribe, Gye-Nyame family. Stand up. Peace. If you're not adding anything to the culture that you claim, you don't deserve to carry its name. This is Brother Hatem coming at you live, and you are now listening to the Gye-Nyame Journey Radio. Shouts out to Gye-Nyame Tribe, Gye-Nyame family. Stand up. You are now listening to Gye-Nyame Journey Radio. Peace. This is Gina. And you are now
you listen to my daddy.
on Gye-Nyame
Journey
Radio.
Radio.
Peace.
Peace.
Oh my God, I have had enough. Man, we got a message on here from Sister Terahasa. Say, criteria for elders. Elders are able to let others speak and can build and control a more forceful and effective organizations. Elders are able to nurture communication and participation without dominating or ignoring. Elders elicit responsible involvement in a community foundation. Elders have mastered egotism and know the boundaries of participation. Elders control their interactions based on the limitations of the organized structure of relationships. Their individuality is developed on the community as a foundation. Well. I want to make sure that y'all know you have now just joined the Congregation of the Mighty, and this is Gye-Nyame Journey Media. That's right. Of course, you know this is a Heart of a Simple production, and we are right now on Folktales for Grown Folks, also known as #FFGF. This is a Heart of a Simple production. And of course, you know, we strive to blow up your old paradigm. All right, family. Now let me get back, and I'm gonna open it up. We are streaming on 5 platforms. We are streaming on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 platforms. We are on YouTube, Gye-Nyame Journey. You can look us up, like us, follow us on Gye-Nyame Journey Media, on Gye-Nyame Journey on YouTube. You can check me out, Hatem, my page on YouTube. Also, we are on Periscope at Hatem, HA2TIM. We on Stream.me on Gye-Nyame Journey, Gye-Nyame Journey Media. We on Facebook as Hatem Gye-Nyame, as well as on Facebook on Gye-Nyame Journey. Now, also we are also streaming, so we on 7 platforms. We are also streaming on Spreaker.com, right? You can look I'm trying to get a little bit everywhere. I know that we have to cast our nets wide, family. We got to cast our nets wide and far, so that we, Artem, you are boom, boom, okay. Okay, cool. All right, so now I got that off the screen. All right, cool. So, and there's a lot of stuff going on. Of course, you know, in the world, you know, we got the hearing going on for, I think it's Kavanaugh. We have all types of fuckery going on in the media. Different things taking attention from stuff that needs to be happening. We have Bill Cosby. Elder Bill Cosby is locked up right now. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know whether he got 3 or 10 years, but they will also determine that. But then maybe the title of elder might be in question for him. Maybe some of y'all might want to discuss that after we read the folktale, right? Then also, in the news, I guess that's the major stuff that I'm able to think of. But like I said, I get my news off of YouTube. I find what it is that I feel is important, and I try to bring what I can. But also, I want to bring the conversation. And for those that are new to Gye-Nyame Journey and want to know what we're doing, what we do every Kuji Chagalia. I try not to say the days of the week, because when I do, see, this is what I love about Gye-Nyame Journey, right? Even a baby that's in the journey, that's in our circle, one of the babies could catch me slipping up and demand their push-ups. You know what I'm saying? Whatever discipline comes with it, if the child catches you doing it wrong, you can be held responsible. You know what I'm saying? And one of the things that I always stress is the 3 R's of relationship, right? You got R, which is relationship, but you got the 3 R's of relationships. And a lot of us forget these. We want to be in relationships, but we look at relationships in different ways. So, Gye-Nyame, I try to make sure people understand the 3 R's in relationship. First R is respect. You know what I'm saying? I know a lot of people, well, brother, I did what, because we all have different meanings. And that's part of the problem with a lot of stuff that we do, because we speak English, but do we really speak English? You understand what I'm saying? We speak English, but do we really understand English? Right? Are we taking time to define what it is that we're saying? So when we say terms, like when we talk about these principles, are we really talking about the principle, or are we talking about our idea of the principle? You know what I'm saying? Because as collectives, we have to be able to define stuff, and we have the understanding of it, right? Because people don't understand, like, for far as Gye-Nyame Journey, I mean, it's a little bit deeper than just it's literally a tribe for me. You know what I'm saying? I'm out hustling and struggling every day so that I can make sure that I'm able to do stuff for my tribe. I'm trying to put people that's in my tribe in positions to win. You know what I'm saying? Because I believe that's my responsibility. And I try to live up. I ain't going to even say try. I live up to my responsibility. You know what I'm saying? I want y'all to know that. I take great pride in being able to live up to my responsibility. And so, you know what I'm saying, I try to make sure that when I'm talking about stuff and I'm defining stuff, I'm trying to make sure that people understand what I mean. So we take time in our family to define things. Respect. You know what I'm saying? Again, spect. See again. Take time to see every individual. Take time to see every opportunity. Take time to see everything that's going around you and see it again. Because oftentimes with our first look on something, with our first time seeing something, we kind of overlook it and we don't look at the depth of it. And when you look at a lot of meditation techniques, right? A lot of meditation techniques are about you giving respect to your thoughts, giving respect to your breath, giving respect to an object that you might be staring at, giving respect to a certain mantra, being able to say it and do it over and over again. And it kind of reminds me of the movie Avatar, not the Airbender, with the blue people running around, right? You know what I'm saying? I see you. You know, I think it's important that we let people know that we see them. When we talk about relationship, I see you, right? I see what you're doing. I see you. I see your efforts. I see you. You know what I'm saying? I see you and I see what you're doing, and I respect that. I'm looking at it again, and in me looking at it again, I'm able to pull out the beauty in it, or even sometimes the ugliness in it. And I'm willing to tell you that, right? Next are responsibility. So, you know, like I said, respect is like a stool. Respect is the seat, and you got the 3 legs. First one is respect. Second one is responsibility, family. Responsibility, right? Many of us want relationships without responsibilities. We want the relationship, but we don't want the responsibility. But you can't have a healthy relationship without taking responsibility for the relationship, right? Don't you hate those individuals that talk about that you their cousin, but they don't have no responsibility for you whatsoever? You know what I'm saying? They want to be related to you when things are going good, and when they don't have to step up, they don't have to show no responsibility. You know what I'm saying? All is good, but as soon as responsibility is there, there's an issue. We have a responsibility for family. We have a responsibility for those that we have a relationship with. And sometimes the responsibility is being like, look, you're wrong. And sometimes it's standing up for them when they can't stand up for themselves. Taking responsibility. Sometimes laying your life on the line. You know what I'm saying? Responsibility. You know what I'm saying? Can you respond to what's needed? Right? You have that response. You know, I mean, that's it. But you have that duty to respond about those individuals that you love. Right? And the last R is reciprocity. Can I accept the reciprocity that comes with relationship? Reap what I sow. Get back what I give type thing. If there's not a reciprocity going in a relationship, because one of the things I try to get people to understand, that reciprocity is a flow of energy. And in order for something to stay working, that reciprocity has to be flowing. Right? And what you put in, you know what I'm saying? In some form or fashion, you need to get out. It don't have to be the exact same thing, but there's exchange of energy. You know what I'm saying? Some of us got more reciprocity going on with stores than we got with people that we say we're in relationships with. Some of us got more reciprocity going on with the institutions we work for. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy sometimes. You know? So, like I said, I'm trying to make sure I'm up. I guess I'm up. You know, I guess everybody busy tonight, so we're going to break down these by ourselves. But I'm going to make sure people know that the lines are open, 614-556-4535. Let's see, I'm going to double check on, okay, it only went up on 4, so I wonder which one it failed on. Let's see what's going on Hootsuite. All right, nothing popping off on Hootsuite. Nothing popping off on Gye-Nyame. Okay. All right, family. So those are the 3 R's of relationship. Now remember, when we on Gye-Nyame Journey, in order for us to stay healthy, you know, because like I said, I try to throw this stuff out periodically. 5 things we need to do. 5 pillars of our health. 5 pillars for us to stay healthy. All right. You ready? You ready? Or it's 4. 4. Breathe. Yeah. 4. Breathing. Are you breathing? Are you taking the time to? Are you respecting your breath? You got a relationship with your breath. Do you? You know what I'm saying? Is the reciprocity there? Is the respect there? Is the responsibility there? We got to make sure that we're breathing properly. We got to make sure that we are breathing on purpose rather than just haphazardly. You know what I'm saying? Are you taking some time to respect your breath? The next one is drinking the proper amounts of water. You know what I'm saying? Drinking proper amounts of water, right? See, a lot of us, we're functioning, either we're not breathing right, not getting enough air, and on top of that, even when we sleep, because some of us are snoring and breathing with our mouths open, and that's unless you're under a lot of stress, that's a no-no. And a lot of us are suffering from dehydration. We need to get a culturally appropriate diet, family. Culturally appropriate, right? There's something called the African Heritage Diet that I challenge everybody that's around me to start looking up and start applying to your life. All right, Mr. Terahasa here. All right, cool. All right, you know what I'm saying? And the last one is movement. I like to say culturally appropriate movement, getting yourself involved in some cultural activities. Like if there's a festival, get your ass out there and walk. You know what I'm saying? Get involved with the vendors. Get involved in some good old-fashioned negotiating, trying to bring a price down, standing up on your feet, getting up, moving around. If there's some African dance, do it. If your drum, do it. If it's capoeira, do it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's like get up and move, family. You know what I'm saying? You do these 4 things. Keep the doctor about your face. Breathing, which will heal a lot of stuff in us. Water, which definitely a lot of us are running around here dehydrated. And once again, let me stress, coffee, tea, and milk, pop, they don't count as water. I ain't say liquid. I said getting the proper amounts of water in you. All right, so now, here we go. Let's get to these folk tales, right? Anybody out there that want to call in, number 614-556-4535. I don't know if my posts are popping up on the streams. I hope they are. Shouts out to those that might be stopping through for a second on Periscope. Shouts to those that's checking me on either one of the Facebook pages. Shouts out to those on YouTube. And, of course, shouts out to my family on Spreaker. You know, and, of course, last but not least, shouts out to Gye-Nyame Journey.
This call is being recorded.
Shouts out to those on Gye-Nyame Journey. Somebody just joined us on the line. Who this be?
Lady J.
What's up, Lady J? So you just missed my whole diatribe.
Nothing much.
Huh? I couldn't hear you. Say again.
I said nothing much.
All right, cool. So let's get into this. Let's get into this folk tale. Folk tales for grown folks. All the shows are geared towards getting people to think. We don't have to agree. You don't have to call in and agree. You could type up what you think, or if you're bold enough, call in and let's have a conversation. All right? And usually we are able to take these age-old folk tales and bring them into present world, bring them into our personal lives so that we can use the wisdom of our ancestors. We call it wisdom mining so that we can get the information that's already out there that we could use to solve our problems. Thinking is a major step. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of us get caught up and we ain't doing that. Right? So here we go. The folktale for the day is called The Hen and the Swallow. The Hen and the Swallow. If you don't know what they are, look them up, family. A hen, H-E-N, and a swallow, S-W-A-L-L-O-W. By the way, this is Grown Folk Talk after the folk tale. Tell the kids to go to bed. You know what I'm saying? Because we about to get into it. You know what I'm saying? All right. A hen finding the eggs of a viper and carefully keeping them warm nourished them into life. A swallow, observing what she had done, said, "You silly creature, why have you hatched these vipers which, when they shall have grown, will inflict injury on all, beginning with yourself?" Shouts out to Brother Kwame. I see you out there. Once again, I'll read it again. The hen and the swallow. A hen finding the eggs of a viper and carefully keeping them warm nourished them into life. A swallow, observing what she had done, said, "You silly creature, why have you hatched these vipers, which, when they shall have grown, will inflict injury on all, beginning with yourself?" Damn, where my lightning at? Let me get my lightning out. Lady J, did you hear that? Did you hear that folk tale?
Can you read it one more time?
A hen finding the eggs of a viper, carefully keeping them warm, nourished them into life. A swallow, observing what she had done, said, "You silly creature, why have you hatched these vipers which, when they shall have grown, will inflict injury on all, beginning with yourself?" You get it?
Yes, sir.
You want to hit it first, or what's up? What you want to do?
You go first.
All right. Let me type up, because I'm putting on the timeline that people can call in, 614-556-4535. Let's get this conversation popping. All right, here we go, family. Are y'all ready? Here we go. So, now what we have is we have something happening outside of nature. We have something that's not natural happening. We have, it's a hen that finds something that don't belong to her and decides that she is going to provide this thing that does not belong to her with everything that it needs to grow up. But the very things that's in the egg are the very things that will hunt her down and kill her, and may have already killed some of her family, and will also attempt to kill the swallow that is giving her words of warning. Now, the question that I have, what viper eggs do you have in your life that you are sitting on right now and nurturing into health and nurturing and bringing back from the dead so that they can take your life? Oftentimes when we look at our politics as a people, when we look at our economics for a people as a people, when we look at our social structures as people, when we look at how we deal with each other and others, we are that hen sitting on viper eggs. We're warming them up. We're giving them everything that they need so that they could grow up. And although they might be cute when they small, they might be the little, look at the little worm looking thing. Oh, they're so beautiful. They turn around and do what's in their nature. Now, a lot of us believe more in nurture than nature. But the actual fact of the matter is that a lot of times, nature is there. Nature is happening. A viper is a natural enemy of the hen. The viper is a natural enemy of a swallow. The viper is a natural enemy of many of the same animals that we read about because of its poisonous sting. And it's like we're nurturing things that will eventually poison us. And the question that I have for everybody out there, what things in your life are you nurturing that you know is going to come back and get you? Terahasa says, I hired a woman. I knew she was resentful of my position. I wanted her to grow past it. I was aware that an attack could come because I was prepared. I took her head. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and in some cases, we put ourselves in situations where we would have just, in a sense, walked away or passed by this first applicant or passed by this situation, right? We end up allowing, because the danger is now that wherever she is, because a hen usually sits on eggs in her home. My question is, where are these vipers being nurtured at? You know what I'm saying? So is this where she's calling home? And now, according to the story, the vipers have hatched. And the swallow's just being truthful with her. And oftentimes, we kind of do people like the hen might have did the swallow. I ain't got time to hear what you got. You know what I'm saying? I heard you. Go ahead.
Is there too much noise in my background?
Say again? Let me turn you down a little bit.
Is there too much noise in my background?
No, not now.
Okay, so if it is, I apologize. I'm about to leave to go to a quiet space, but I do want to say that this folktale reminds me of the destruction of a black people.
Black civilization.
Yeah, the destruction of a black civilization. Yes, in the sense that we are keeping alive that culture, those practices that have been responsible for our demise. We sit and continue to partake in those activities, again, that are responsible for our demise. So in the sense of keeping other people's culture alive when it is not of us, that is responsible for our, for our demise. And I feel like my people do that. And that is why we are in the predicament, not because our ancestors have not already warned us, not because they haven't told us that these practices, these beliefs are responsible for our destruction. These relationships are responsible for our destruction. We don't heed that. And so we continue with this behavior that puts us at a disadvantage.
And culturally, because one of the things that I was talking about before you got on was the 3 R's of relationships. And one of the things that I forgot to stress, and really with our principles and all that, oftentimes, like I said, one of the major issues for us is that for some reason we feel a natural kinship with everyone. And I think that is one of those vipers that we may be sitting on that somehow has been put in us. And
I know why we have that connection with people. For all people.
Go ahead.
It's because we're God. That is why we behave. And naturally, you were talking about nature versus nurture. Naturally, we as a people, like if we get into, do you believe that stuff about like a chosen people? Do you agree with that?
The who?
Like when they talk about a chosen people, that there is a chosen people.
Okay, I hear you. Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, it depends on who doing the choosing.
Yeah, so when I think of a chosen people, I think of my people are a chosen people, which would explain why our behavior and our conduct is unlike other people, because innately we are made a certain way.
But and what's crazy is that it's counter nature in the way that is counter our survival. And so now you really have to ask the question, why after situation after situation after situation, we continue to do the same thing. Is it godly to give up your children's life? I mean, I understand you can sacrifice yours, right? I run out here and I save somebody's life, but I'm not gonna push Cleveland in front of somebody to save somebody's life. You understand what I'm saying? It's like, what is it gonna take for us to really understand that in many of these instances, we're nurturing a viper?
That cannot. I think that one reason we don't get some of the traditions that we are perpetuating is because we don't understand the weapons of war. And if we don't understand the weapons of war,
hold on.
Yeah, if we don't understand the weapons of
what?
We give little credence to some things. And so those things that we should be mindful and watchful of, those traditions, behaviors, we give too little credit to it. And so we don't ourselves understand that those little things are the cause of such great destruction. Those little things.
I mean, there's enough of us that's read that understand this.
I know people who are like, okay, so there's a difference between being awake and being enlightened. Or you can throw in some of those other terms. There's levels to it, right? Mm-hmm. And so there are people that are, quote unquote, I might throw these terms in the wrong way, but in my eyes, there's people who are woke, but they're not enlightened. You know what I'm saying? So they're privy, they're aware of certain things, but not all. You know what I'm saying? Or you know certain things, but you don't act on them. Like I remember when I first started reading biographies by our African American ancestors, and I had began to go into certain beliefs. But one thing that I wasn't ready to do, even though I felt some type of way, was that I just believed that, like Christmas, I couldn't figure out how I was not going to celebrate Christmas. And part of the reason is because my mama made a Christmas for us, right? It's about the kids. It's about this. So even though I had certain views, I hadn't yet acted on them. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I had began to understand the consumer society and consumerism and all of the consequences and repercussions behind it as far as my people, but I really wasn't ready to, for whatever reason, go cold turkey, you know what I'm saying, off of these commercial holidays, namely Christmas, right? So I think that, again, we know some things, but then we continue to partake in them. You know what I'm saying? Which leads to we know it, but we're not acting on it. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And that's just one example. But I think that we don't comprehend how basic, when I think of change, I'm thinking of we have to go to the basics. And when we're looking at these grand problems, we don't understand that something so small could solve it, right? So, for example, we're looking at our youth, and I'm thinking to myself, how hard is it just to turn off a TV? How hard is it just to turn off a TV, right? And in my eyes, when I think of socialization of our youth, I think that there's the solution. We were not bombarded with the same images. We did not have access to the topics, right? Mm-hmm. The culture that's been impressed upon our youth. So it's not like when we were growing up watching TV. How hard is it to put restrictions on your children? Not hard at all. And and people don't understand that small thing will make a great impact with regards to our people and our future. But it just seems too simple for people, right? That's too simple. So turn off the TV isn't going to solve our big problem. But in my eyes, it will.
Well, I think once again that gets back into the discussion we have about us having a multi-pronged strategy. Because, like I said, you said we don't understand the tools of war, but I mean, you don't win war on one front. You have to not only be attacking, but you have to be defending and guarding and making sure that your troops have supplies and having spies and working the political angle, all and controlling the economics of what you're doing and what other people are doing. So, and when it comes to solutions, that could be a piece, but do
we know what type of war we're fighting?
How many different types of war are there? I'm just throwing it out there. If we are say that we are in a war, how many different types of war are there? You understand what I'm saying? Because this one,
you tell me.
Well, I mean, the type of war we are in right now. I mean, we in a total war. We can see action. No, I say spiritual. It's spiritual. It's on those 5 levels we talk about. It's mental, emotional, spiritual, IMESP. Intuitional, mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical. We battling on all fronts. So we have to be training and we have to be prepared to deal with things on all fronts. You know what I'm saying?
And I think that I think that this war that's being waged on us is psychological.
Well, what about?
And I think that if we don't understand psychological
warfare,
what about
the bodies
and
we've
the
been
tools
catching?
of psychological warfare, we cannot protect ourselves.
But
nor
psychological
can we
warfare.
fight back.
But psychological warfare, I hear you. But psychological warfare is part of war. You know what I'm saying? Because we also catching bodies, so there's a physical aspect. Psychological is the mind, right? Our intuition is being attacked, our spirit is being attacked, and our physical bodies are being attacked, as well as our emotions. So, I mean, I'm just saying, how many different types of war? Once somebody call war on you, unless you're in a specific field, like economic war or something like that, all that stuff comes into play. Bodies is being cat. I mean, you know what I'm saying? We are in a legitimate conflict. Maybe we haven't come together and called it a war, so we got to do it like Vietnam. We haven't all agreed, or enough of us haven't agreed that we're in a war. So we're in a major conflict right now. But let me go on and read some of these. So going back, back to something we said. Terhasa says separation is not natural to us. That is Urugu. How about when, I mean, because it's like, I hear you on that, but then again, I mean, sometimes, and like I said, go on and type in, because sometimes we get so goddamn spiritual that we just miss. I think sometimes we be missing the mark. I mean, is it really good enough to be like, they're like that because of Urugu? I mean, we was fighting wars before them. You know what I'm saying? Before the incursions, we had battles. We knew war. Hell, some of our cities was shit.
But this ain't the same war.
No, but yes, it is.
This ain't the type.
Yes, it is.
The tools that they are using.
So you saying they didn't have psychological? They didn't have a psychological aspect of their war. They didn't have a violent part of their war. You know what I'm saying? They didn't have a spiritual aspect to their war. I mean, how's it different? The weapons are different. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Okay, it's still the ultimate goal. We are
spiritual beings.
Come on now.
We are spiritual beings. Well,
listen,
correct?
I could prove that. I could prove that for me at this point in time in my development, that's a crock of shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying.
What is a crock of shit?
That we are spiritual people. We
Why
are.
Are we not?
We are.
What does it mean? What does it mean for you to be spiritual?
We are intuitional, mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical. We are operate on all levels. And I think a lot of times we use the whole spiritual piece to justify us being in this fucked up situation. Oh, it's just because we're more spiritual than them. Fuck that. I'm not with that. That's what
we are first. In my eyes, I tell.
Hey.
And I'm gonna tell you why.
That ain't working for you.
Can I explain why?
Oh yeah, but it ain't working for you. But go ahead.
Every morning you pour libations. Why is that?
Because I'm saluting my personal ancestors. I'm saluting my connection.
Are you calling on your person?
I'm saluting and I'm calling on them.
You're calling on them.
Right.
Why has that been a part of our history? Why is recognizing our
because we recognize the spiritual aspect of ourselves. But for us to keep on going into this, we are spiritual people, and neglecting some of the shit that's going on around us. You know what I'm saying? I'm honestly thinking that we throw up these terms.
How is that neglecting?
You ain't say spiritual first. You said spiritual being.
We are spiritual beings, and with that wrapped in our.
Well, we might need to become a little bit more physical because they physically whooping our ass. They mentally whooping our ass. You know what I'm saying? Okay, we're gaining some victory on the spiritual aspect. You know what I'm saying? But as spiritual as we are, spirituality is not paying the rent. Spirituality is not controlling the block. Spirituality, as a matter of fact, we got so many fucking different spiritualities and thoughts of spirit that, you know what I'm saying? Come on now. Help me. I'm going to shut up. Help me.
I think that once we get back to the basics, i.e. our spirituality, we won't be losing. I think that whenever, again, I'm going to go back to my original statement. Whenever we became immersed in other people's cultures and other people's beliefs and other people's traditions, we let ours go. And even when we say, as a people, that when certain people, like you said, there's so many different types of spirituality, even when we say that, I don't know that we understand or we all have the same understanding or an agreement on what that means.
Now,
when
do you want me to talk
beings,
to you?
I am simply referring to the fact that when I think of it, I'm thinking that we are, I hate to say it, we're closer to God.
Oh my God.
We are gods.
You know what?
And so
I'm glad you brought that up because I'm about to say some controversial shit.
When I say we are spiritual beings, I'm actually saying that we are one with the universe.
Listen.
We are one with the universe.
What you are saying.
That is, once we return to that and we know our true power and we know our true strength, we will know why we are hated. We will know why we are feared. We will know why we are persecuted.
I don't think we fear.
We will be able to dive into our spirituality, our inner selves, and recapture that strength that our ancestors had. Mm-hmm. I also think, I also said that the piece, there's other pieces that go to that. When I'm talking about socialization and how we have been programmed.
That's mental.
To partake in behaviors that
That's
are
mental.
Counterproductive to our existence as a people. Mm-hmm. And I don't even want to go into that because then I'll
But
sound
then that's
like
mental. You shouldn't go
right?
into it if you're a spiritual being. I mean, the mental, obviously, since you're a spiritual being, the mental, the psychological war shouldn't really matter because you're a spiritual being.
What do you mean? Why would
I'm just saying. We spiritual beings. We closer to God. And I'm like this. Any God that would allow his chosen people to get whooped need to be questioned. I'm just saying. We're the chosen people. We're closer to God. We're more spiritual. And any God that we are serving and that we're calling on that's allowing us to get our ass kicked like this need to be called up for questioning.
You're tight.
I know. No, baby, 15 years ago.
I'm not going to call you names on your show.
Listen.
I just don't. I don't. And when I call.
I need somebody else to call in, too. I'm going to piss you off tonight.
I want to reiterate this. What I said is that we are one with the universe.
Oh, my God.
We are of this earth. We are one with the universe.
We're more one than everybody else.
Huh?
We're more one than everybody else. This is cloak talk to me. This is cloak talk.
This is only my thinking. So some time ago we some people come into this term with melanin, right? And we began talking about melanin. And a lot of times I would see people post on their social media about black people having melanin as if everything that is living in Earth doesn't have melanin, as if melanin is not found in space and in the universe, and as if melanin isn't found in every blade of grass. Like, everybody has melanin. But when I think of why that's significant for black people, right, and why it is stated that we have more melanin, that melanin, whatever that thing is that we have genetically that's in us, makes us closer and closer to one with the universe. I don't want to say that people are defects. People who don't look like me are defects. But I'm just going to say some people would say that they are, what do they call it? When you have something that is normal and then it keeps breeding and then it's not so normal. Whatever that word is, I've heard these people talk on podcasts and blogs about it. But they call, maybe there is some truth to that. But I believe that that's what makes us, why I say spiritual, when I say closer to God, is that whatever it is that's in us puts us even closer to being able to connect with all that around us if we can tap into that. Everybody has it. It's like potential. Everybody has potential.
You need to get to tapping.
Right?
You need to get
it's whether or not you can tap into it.
You need to get to tapping. You know what I'm saying? I go on wage war on the economic. You need to tap, because all this power that you're talking about, see, that don't translate to food on the table.
For nobody that doesn't believe
that don't translate into food.
Your belief is everything.
That don't translate into housing. That don't translate into political power. That don't translate into economic power.
You know what it translates into?
What it translates into? See, you are about to make me turn into an atheist.
Translates into
because
freedom.
Every time I talk to somebody and they start going off, because I used to be like that, where I'm like, it's the spirit and it's the, what I'm saying, and then I start really looking at what it means for me when somebody talk about a chosen people. I have to wonder who chose those people. And usually when you really look down at the real equation of it, those people chose them themselves. And I'm like this, and they chose themselves, and they chose themselves through their actions. And I'm like this, we sit up here and we talk all of this spiritual mumbo jumbo. Now, one time, and I'm gonna go into the story because you had your time. I had an African brother that told me about how trees and where he was from, you could cut them and they could bleed and they could do all types of spells and shit. And this is when I first started questioning. And I'm sitting up here like, y'all got all this spiritual power. You bragging about all this spiritual power. And I asked, why y'all never used that on the white man? And he got quiet.
What is your con name? What is your con name?
My who?
Do you have an Akan name?
Yes, I do.
What is your Akan name?
Kwabena.
Wabana.
Now, this is the piece. I'm not saying neglect the culture, but what I'm saying is
hold on,
because
let's go back. Because what day were you born on? I'm
not gonna say the day because I'm gonna have to do push-ups. I was born on Kuji Chagalia. Do you know what day that is?
Kuji Chagalia. Okay, yes, I do know.
Oh, you looking it up?
No, I'm not looking it up. It's the second day of the week.
What's the point?
Point
I'm also known as Hatim. Right?
Okay.
And
Can I go back to
hurry up?
Get
to it because I want to read some of these comments.
I was born on Umoja. I'm just a day before you. Okay, so Akan names. We know that this is West African tradition, right?
Mm-hmm. You know how those names came about?
So, tell me.
All right. So, one of the things that our ancestors used to do, along with meditating and praying and working in the fields and building houses and having battles to expand possibly what they had and having battles to protect what they had and domesticating animals, you know what I'm saying? They didn't pray that shit into existence. They actually got out and did work. They also observed nature, and they started recognizing certain patterns in nature, and they noticed certain patterns for individuals that was born on certain days and at certain times, and those individuals were able to be those days were able to be given a name, right?
Okay.
And in those days, individuals that was born on those days showed certain qualities. Now, they didn't meditate that into existence.
They went.
Hold on, they studied that. They studied that
into
existence.
Let's go deeper.
Go as deep as you want.
deeper.
Long as at the end
your
of that deep
ancestors
is
studied-
productive.
Let's go here.
I'm listening.
Hakeem.
Let's go.
Are you listening?
I'm listening. Go ahead.
Okay, let's go here. So your ancestors believed that people born on certain days had certain characteristics, correct? They studied it. Now, the other piece to this is that your people studied the universe, which is why those universities, that term comes from Africa, if I'm not mistaken. Not only the term university, because you go to school and what do you study? The universe, right? These first universities in parts of Africa, right? Northern Africa, if I'm not mistaken. So, I did some research on the time names, and what I found out is that not only did they believe these people had certain characteristics, they believed that their soul, which was already in existence, comes out, chooses to be birthed on that day.
Mm-hmm.
So it goes back to the soul.
Mm-hmm.
And the soul is our spirit. And like I said, I agree with you that we have different terms. And that's why I when I hear the term religion, and then I hear the term spirituality, right? I think of religion like how often you go to church or something like that, adhere to some religious doctrine, right?
I'm going to tell you what spirituality is to me.
When I think of spiritual, I think how often you pray, i.e. how often you praise, how often you speak to the universe.
Now,
and knowing that connection and that power with your words, with your thoughts, right?
Get to the
point. So that is prayer, praise, whatever, libations, whatever we want to call it. It gets back at who we are, as our beliefs as a people, our understanding as a people as far as our existence. Our soul was already wherever and chose to come.
And we chose to come
and that goes to say
so
again
why,
we are a spirit.
Why did we choose? Why did we choose to come here? Because if I was a spirit and I was able to do, as some of y'all say, be spirit and just float around, why would I choose to come into this body so that I could come get closer to the spirit or to accomplish something on this plane? Go ahead.
You want me to answer that?
Answer it. I mean, you
Okay.
You obviously connected.
I'm going to tell you why. When my study of religion has showed me just how much.
To the point.
Let me finish. My study of religion. These doctrines that were based off stories that were told, right? Beliefs, how people have maneuvered their encounters with things that were not of this earth, right? That science can't explain. When people were explaining these miracles, because you witnessed miracles, Hatil? Things that logic cannot explain?
All the time.
Moments of premonition. Moment where you heard something, spoke something from the universe, and it came to be.
I talk about them on my show all the time.
Okay.
But none of that.
Okay, and so
none of that discounts.
Let me go into it.
Hey, go into it in a minute. You got a minute.
Hindus and Buddhists have similar beliefs as far as reincarnation, right? And why we must leave. It goes back to the Maya as well. So when you're wondering why our soul chose to be born, until you reach that last realm, your soul has no choice, right? Your soul has no choice. And so that is why your soul chose to be here. It all ties in together.
So it came.
And I told you this moment, the moment that I realized I told you, I came to you, I sought you out as my elder, as my advisor, and I told you, I figured something out. I figured something out. These same stories travel. And so wherever you go, we talked about it on this show, wherever you go, every time I study, I'm linking it back to our beliefs, our core beliefs and our core understanding, our core, our prehistorical beliefs, right? On our understanding of this universe, of our existence, right? I just take it back to that, and it's found all over.
Now,
all over the Eastern Hemisphere, it's found.
Now,
it ripples all the way to India, right?
What does
When
that
I'm
have
reading
to
about
do?
These Buddhists and these Hindus.
Get to it, baby. Get to it, please.
Yeah, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. Our ancestors gave us the blueprint.
The blueprint for what?
They gave us the blueprint on who we are and you know, yeah.
So we're just here.
On who we are.
We're just here to correct our soul and move on to heaven.
I would, in a nutshell.
Okay. Why the
You're not going to give me any time to elaborate.
Why the Kemites were waiting to perfect their souls? Were they nation building? How about the people in the Mali Empire? How about the people in the Songhai Empire? How about the people in Mali? How about the people in Zimbabwe?
Are we building?
Hey, listen. We are building, but all I'm challenging is this thought process that takes everything back to spirit. When if it was all about spirit, why would we come back? You know what I'm saying? If it's all wait, hold on. Why would I choose? Why would I? So basically, the body is just useless. The emotions that I go through are useless.
Yep.
Come on, baby.
Come on now.
This is why I mean, and this is part of why. This is part of the reason why somebody could get shot and we could turn around and be like, let's forgive them.
You know what?
This is all about the spirit.
And this is what I'm going to tell you. That is how come a ugly person can be beautiful. Because yes, it's deeper than the skin that we're wrapped in. It transcends that. It transcends the body.
Listen to
it is down to the soul.
Listen,
it is down to the soul.
You turning me into an atheist.
And that is our core.
I mean, because if we can't direct everything into this life, into this moment, I pour for my ancestors to remind me of my responsibility to them and to my children on this plane of existence. Now, if I go to spirit and become an ancestor, I'm going to handle business on that side. I'm so sick of my people talking all this spiritual mumbo jumbo, right? Hold on, because I'm one of the first ones. I got a tattoo on my back about this whole God piece. But we gods, and we sitting up in squalor. We gods and we sitting in squalor, right? Let me give you my.
That's a piece of mind. What are you talking about?
Okay.
I get tired of you talking about.
Whatever. Don't get tired. I get tired of you going all around the point and taking us all around the world. Like but I still allow you to talk. I still love you.
Flag on your play.
Flag
on your play,
now. Oh no.
You're not going to.
We losing.
Okay,
my fault.
Speak for yourself.
No, I'm talking about the team that I'm on.
My people are in the midst of the Great Awakening.
Oh God! Well, wake up, goddammit! Wake up!
So it may not be.
You still sleep talking this shit. You dreaming? You in a dream realm? You in a dream realm?
Let me tell
talking
you
about dealing with actual reality.
Okay, let me just say this.
So the body is just waste. You chose to come here to balance yourself out spiritually. That's a slave religion. That's slavery.
Okay, let me finish. Let me finish.
I'll let you finish already. I mean, come on, man.
You can look at your glass half empty. I'm going to continue to look at my glass.
Okay, cool. Well, hold on. Time out. Stop. We out of way. Hold on. For those that might be joining and no, wait, you better not. If you go into that, I'm gonna cut you off. I'm gonna have to start cutting motherfuckers off on Gye-Nyame Journey because listen, you better not go into your speech about when you have seen rivers and shit. No, we're not gonna do that. We're not gonna do that today.
I already said it. You said it. The Negro speaks rivers.
Oh my God! Listen,
the Negro, you got to look at our history.
Listen. Oh wow! I got to look at our history too. You're right. You're right because I got a whole bunch, a lot more history that I have to read and I have to learn. But one of the things that I am clear on right now is that
the Negro speaks rivers.
is that we need to we need to change our philosophy, or at least the way we think, because oftentimes,
agree.
if you agree, well, let me finish. Let me give you what I learned about. Let me give you what I learned about spirituality. Let me give you. No, that's not my eye. See, because I'm sick of you positive motherfuckers coming up to me talking about my eye, talking about I'm going to accentuate the positive and just ignore the negative. Mine is about balance.
I didn't say ignore
and
the negative.
well, hold on.
I didn't say
What'd you
ignore
say?
the negative.
You need to be able to look at the negative, because the negative is the feedback from the
I'm
world.
not giving my
The negative is feedback from the world, and it lets you know whether what you are doing is working,
Let me
baby.
tell you something.
No, I'm gonna tell you something because I'm about to give you my definition of spirituality.
Let me tell you something.
If y'all want to hear my definition of spirituality, go on. Oh God.
Every day I wear two hats, right? Every single day I wake up and will put on two hats. I choose to, right? And part of the reason why I do so is because my second hat that I put on, you
lucky
love
you my co-host, because I would cut your ass
But that
off.
second hat that I put on, when I walk through that door and I see what I see, and I know that what I was able to do there as a person of color, as a teacher, as a leader, come on now.
But that ain't happening in the spirit.
It's in my face. It's in my face.
That's not happening in the spirit, baby.
On behalf of my people.
That's not happening in the spirit. And if it is in the spirit, it's not in the spirit alone. Because you're not walking in there as Casper before them goddamn students.
But guess what? I continue to walk in there because of what I believe in the spirit.
Oh, God.
Of what I believe in.
Okay, so the spirit motivates you. Why don't you keep it at that?
May not be able to buy into, may not be able to invest in, but because I see that because I can see, I believe in the unseen. I believe in the impossible. I'm able to continue to do that.
Why do I do
that is the reality. That is the reality. And when we get back to the basics, which is the religion and different discourse, we won't focus on stuff like that.
Building on survival so that we can actually live a life.
Now we're unable to get beyond that because we're not one with our spiritual core.
Oh my God!
And you pour and I'm confused because you everyday libations.
Wait.
How can you not?
Did you hear why I said I put?
Have you?
No, because I got a different.
Why do you think
I have a different.
That?
If you could shut your mouth for a minute, I could tell you. Because my definition of spirituality, for me, spirituality is about maintaining relationships. I practice my spirituality every day when I'm able to maintain and monitor my relationships. And the majority of relationships that I have don't take place with Casper or anybody else. And I pay homage to those relationships that I had in the past and to relationships that my friends had in the past that chose to share their relations with me, because it's an honor for me to do that. My whole piece is I'm not into the ghastly and the ghostly. My piece is I have children and grandchildren and will have great grandchildren. And the question and the responsibility that I have is about living legacy, not leaving a deeper spiritual identity necessarily for them. Now, if that could become part of it, then that's cool. You know what I'm saying? We don't look at the spirituality in war. We don't. I mean, we don't look at the spirituality of economics. You know what I'm saying? We only look at the spirituality. Wait, hold on. Let me finish? I'll let you finish. We only look at the spirituality that justify us being where we are, and I think that shit needs to stop.
So
see, because I've been holding back on some of my latest thoughts, and if I keep on talking right here, I'm gonna throw out my thoughts and I'm gonna chase away a lot of my viewers, because I'm about to say some shit about some of these pantheons, African, Arabic, Hebrew, all of them. But I'm going to hold back and I'm gonna save it for another time. Family, it's been great having this discussion with you. What I want to do is I'm going to give Lady J a minute after I read this story. I want y'all to start listening to this story and get what lesson you have. You don't have to agree with me. You see, Lady J don't agree with me, and you can get the lesson that you need. Now, you don't have, like I said, you don't have to agree. But the only thing I'm asking you, as a black person, the only thing I'm asking you, family, is to think, because I might not agree with my sister, but the one thing that I do enjoy in dealing with her is that she thinks, and she forces me to think. She forces me to have to look at some of the shit that I'm saying. And until we start having these real conversations with each other and stop assuming that we all mean the same thing, because obviously me and her mean different things like spirituality. I'm just saying, right? You know what I'm saying? So now, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to read this, and Lady J, you can go and close us out with your closing word. And also, before I go, I got some comments to read, because it might be people mad at me or mad at you, or they might just have comments on what we're talking about, which is a beautiful thing. A hen finding the eggs of a viper and carefully keeping them warm nourished them into life. A swallow, observing what she had done, said, "You silly creature, why have you hatched these vipers, which when they shall have grown will inflict injury on all, beginning with yourself?" If you don't mind, sis, can you hold on so I can read some of the comments?
No, I don't mind.
Is what is here really important? This is back about 15 minutes ago. Terra House was asking about, is everything on this plane really important? We live in an illusion and respond to the hologram. She started laughing. She said, spiritual being in a spacesuit. I agree. She agreed with you. She also put up this Terra House. She said, this hologram, the choices we make here will determine where our energy ends up. Is a test of if we deserve to return to the source. Sister Cynthia say, how often you praise equals spirituality. And she goes on to say that religion is a man-made construct. Sounds like definition of spirit is lacking. Brother Kwame. Professor Cook reminds us, Sister Cynthia, Professor Cook reminds us of contradiction, and this conversation is full of contradictions. If our people are still talking about going to heaven, that's a problem in his family. As Brother Tim said, slave thinking. Brother Kwame, English grammar needs a little help. Belief in impossible strongly implies irrationality. Seemingly impossible may better express what is being said, Lady J. I'm sorry, Sister Cynthia Johnson, I'm sorry. Contradictions, not contradict. Sister Terrasa say spirituality is the basis of all things, not religion. So I want to thank everybody for making a comment. Shouts out to Sister Terrasa. Shouts out to Cynthia Johnson. Shouts out to Brother Kwame. Anybody else that's out there listening, please feel free to join the timeline, because you never know what or how your wisdom on this topic, on this folktale, may influence or may even save somebody's life. Stop hiding your light under a basket. Stop it. Go on and shine. Let us know that let us feel your genius. Let us feel your wisdom. And in some cases, in a certain aspect of my life, let us feel your spirit out there. Or even your emotions. That shit. All 5 of them. All right, but Lady J, it's your time, baby. Go and take it away.
I just want to say thank you for allowing me to join you on your platform. Again, tonight, you are always a gracious host. I do want to remind all the listeners that we are in the midst of the Great Awakening. It is time to rise, and it is time for us to shine. I want to encourage us to continue to read articles, books, donate to causes, volunteer our time, services. especially at our youth organizations throughout our cities, at the rec centers, at schools. Get out there to where the people are and give them a taste of your life. Continue to use our social media networks to enlighten and inform. I just, again, think that this goes back to the idea that we are in the midst of a psychological warfare. And so our thinking, we need that. And there's no need for us to calcify our thoughts and our mental power watching things that bombard us and impart these negative beliefs on ourselves. Participate politically, sign a petition, march, plan a peaceful protest, participate in a boycott. Remember, if we want change, we must learn to keep more of it in our pockets. And that's all from me, Hatim. Thank you again for having me.
No problem. Family, if you would, like and share, subscribe if you're on YouTube. I mean, come on now. I'm a couple of steps away from 500 on our Gye-Nyame Journey page. I know for some of y'all out there, that's a small number. But for us here, Gye-Nyame Journey is a big step. I want to thank those daily toasters that consistently keep us up and keep up the support. I want to remind everybody that we will be having our movie night. The movie will be, I sent it out. It's Dark Girls by Bill Duke. It's a real good documentary. We're going to have a full concession stand. Some of the young men and even some of the young ladies will have salads out there. Maybe Sister Nabita will hook up some of that. We're gonna have some ball salads there. Let's put it that. Maybe Sister Nabita will hook up some of that ball salad dressing, and we're gonna kick it, family. So I want to thank everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, share, and with that, I am done. And I want to remind you that you have now joined the congregation of the mighty. This is Gye-Nyame Journey Media. Come on, Anime, pull it from down here. Down here. This is a Heart of a Simba production, and you just got done listening to Folktales for Grown Folk. Will we strive to blow up your old paradigms? I'm out, family. Thank you for your time. All right, speaker, thank you once again. I love and appreciate each and every last one of y'all. And remember the movie night. Come on out and check us out. I think I'm gonna record the conversation just for posterity. And with that, we are out. I think I'm gonna have a few shirts there too. I think I'm gonna make a few shirts. So those of you that want your Daily Toaster shirts, of course in black, y'all hit me up. Peace.